Hey folks, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. Now I know people normally get on me for saying people don't be showing up to their jobs. They be talking about how I get on MJF or Adam Page. So where you been at, boy? Where you been at?
Oh man! Before we get there, what's up, everybody? Ethan Saber Jr. immediately in with the super chats.
Appreciate it.
499 said biggest reunion since Braun came back to Cleveland. So I'm just feeling heaven sent, man.
Oh shit.
I was out here, going, and I was off 2 weeks. James held it down, did a great job, especially that first week. I was like, I don't really think I can. Look, the stuff I had to say about the Bam Adebayo, Kobe Bryant, I said it in rhyme. So if y'all want to hear that, check it out. The link's in the podcast description and all that. 81/83 freestyle on my YouTube page. But yeah, I was out of town. I was actually in Florida, and I could not make it happen just logistically being on the show these other weeks and all that. But I still managed to get some content out there.
Yeah, you got some shit off. You got a lot of shit off over the past couple weeks. Yeah, past few weeks. Yeah.
So like I went into basically the launch of RLPW. So RLPW has always been kind of like this long running joke
Right.
on here and amongst the friends. And, I was just talking, about it with a couple of friends of mine. I was talking with MP about it. I was talking with Swerve about it actually too. And it was just like, I know inside of me, I have. Everybody, so I'm a little down in the mix. How about now? Hopefully I'm okay. But yeah, so like, I was just like, I feel like I have more like to give. I feel like I need to work harder. And I was like, I can host One Nation Radio every week, won't affect anything. But I'm like, do I see myself ascending further? Like, how can we grow this brand with One Nation Radio, with Social Suplex? And I was like, I gotta start, expanding the IP, so to say. And it's been a really fruitful thing so far. And, we're just like over, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks launch, almost to 400 subscribers, dropping new videos all the time. People seem to really be digging it, making waves inside of wrestling, outside of wrestling. Y'all wouldn't believe the people I'm hearing from, but I'm gonna just leave that to, but it's amazing, quite frankly. When you have the power to put your mind to something. The things that happen, and you just never know, who will roll up on your block, so to say. But just try to approach the game with respect for the game and be able to stand on my receipts. And it's I'm gonna have a blast doing this, because I was like, I look at the people like the big YouTubers that do stuff with pro wrestling, and I'm like, I don't feel like they got nothing that I don't got. So I'm going to approach it a different way too from what they do. So my people are out there. I just got to go find them. And it's already popped Social Suplex's numbers a little bit. So it's, it's working out well thus far.
Yeah. I've been watching them. They've been entertaining, all of them. This one thing is, just make sure that like once you blow up for real, just make sure that like your tweets don't look like an exact copy and paste of the wrestler's tweets that comes out minutes after their tweet. Just make sure. just make sure. I remember I tell you about what was happening. I was like, hey man, this look like a PR blast that got sent out.
But
yeah.
So RLPW, check it out. Link will be in the description from now on. It's on the ticker at the bottom. And just more the same. If you like anything that I've been putting out, and doing some stuff with some visual aid, some audio reaction type stuff. So pretty much some of the formula that I kind of was using on my WNBA videos, like stuff
Yeah.
from news media, different podcasters' reactions. Like, so the visual assistance, it will definitely kind of translate over.
Yeah.
Predictions, mailbag.
Yeah. Put Dan's comment up.
Let me see.
It says Rich is drawing linear eyeballs. He's popping quarters. He's popping quarters.
It just started going crazy out of nowhere. So yeah, it's amazing. The Trent Williams video really did it. That one damn near, that was like the second video I uploaded, or the third one. And they had like 10,000 views on it almost. And this is a fresh channel or whatever, you know. When you talk about the race, something about the race gets them going, James.
It's the race and it's the E. If you talk about the E, which you don't talk about as much, like it, compared to everything else, it gets people going. People want to know what people have to say, even if they don't really even if it's people that don't really fuck with WWE.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's interesting.
Amazing. Yeah. King of the North, RLPW competing with Sleep. Many are saying that's his competition. Oh man, that guy. But yeah, man. So just wanted to tell everybody about the channel and all that, and would appreciate it if you guys.
Yeah, if you are ever coming across this and you heard this, there's no reason why you shouldn't be subscribed and listening to Rich's channel. It's the same shit. It might be even better if you like Rich more than me. There's your hint. So there you go.
Well, yeah, man. Appreciate you holding it down, especially on the Kobe Bryant week, because brother, I was just like, it was a lot, man. It was a lot, and
you were in disarray.
I was not well.
Disarray with a D in front.
I was not well. It was just not anything I wanted to go too deep in, but I just picked up, I turned the microphone on here and got to work. So, I guess we should get it cracking though, man. So one of my favorite topics, World Championship Wrestling. James, 25 years ago today, WCW died. He was chugging along, and I tried to do the Dave Chappelle voice right there. Like, my friend, he was healthy, and he died, man.
I don't be watching the recent Chappelle comedy run, so like I don't remember that one.
But I be seeing people put the jokes out like like his cadence and shit. So I saw this week, and I was like,
"New cigarettes caught up to Dave's voice, definitely caught up to Dave's voice."
Oh yeah. So I was like, yeah, dog, like WCW died 25 years ago, and I was like, well, that's definitely getting talked about on One Nation Radio, because I fucking love WCW. Like, I'm a child of WCW. Even though I was in the Northeast, I watched all that shit on TV anyway. So it was like, I loved the weekend programming, because I couldn't stay up late. My bedtime was like 9 o'clock when I was a kid, a sub 10-year-old or whatever. So what would be on? Nitro came on at 8. So I was like, damn, I could watch the whole first hour of Nitro, and then I could watch Thunder. I could watch WCW Saturday night, WCW Pro with my grandfather on Sundays, and then like Worldwide was on. Like, I got to really kind of experience a lot of pro wrestling there. And then, my first show ever I watched was Starrcade 95, and it was WCW versus New Japan. And thinking about it 30 years later, it's just, a memory and essentially the forebearer to AEW. And we've gone, I've kicked Eric Bischoff's ass in, over the years, and just recently actually too on the channel. But what do you think some of the lessons that WCW left behind that people should have learned from, did not learn from, and the kind of like, how we watched the stuff from the, the movement from the promotions in the 90s and stuff like that? How do you think that compares like towards today?
So I mean, I guess my immediate thoughts is you talk about lessons learned is like the obvious lessons learned is like AEW on Turner. They learned how to take a lot of the things that WCW was doing, whether it's the split or joint shows, if you will, as far as Starrcade with New Japan Pro Wrestling or Forbidden Door, or like having smaller light heavyweight guys, or what be considered light heavyweight guys, to be exciting and light up the show. And a lot of that spirit is in that television. And also a lesson they also learned was, hey, you whatever brought you to the show is what brought you to the show, and it could be NWO, it could be the Elite, but we're not going to spend 4 or 3, 4, 5 consecutive years on this thing. It needs to move and it needs to go down the card at times. Regardless if Elite's in the name, they find ways for not every single individual act to be at the top. They're not coming out to start the show, or start the show at the top of every single hour. You know, oh, Kenny Omega kind of did that on yesterday, but never mind that.
Special case.
Yeah, that's not the same thing as Hogan coming out twice or 3 times in front of the live crowd. Yeah, so those are some of the lessons learned. Now, some of the lessons not learned is when you look at TNA was, like I said, the over reliance on Hogan and thinking that's going to carry you when it's been so many years. And it's like, no, at this point, it's time to move on. It's time to find someone to supplant that or surpass that, or try to hand it down to give you somebody for future to go forward and pass. And then it was like the guy in TNA was like the old guys hanging on way too long. Main Event Mafia, perfect example, right? There's not necessarily something like a Main Event Mafia in AEW. There's been attempts. There's been attempts.
I was gonna say
but we stopped it. But anti-terrorism has toppled those at every single turn. So
there are some people that arguing maybe the Main Event Mafia is actually in WWE, between the all the main eventers that are linking up and working with each other and keeping everybody locked out of them spots. So there's people talking like about that stuff. Is like Punk, Roman, Cody. And then whoever they want to work with essentially is allowed to come in, like a McIntyre, like a Kevin Owens, maybe like Orton is allowed to come in. But Walter, your ass not allowed in the club, it looks like, at this point. But I don't know, man. I hear the people talking, but I think some of the stuff that I see from WCW is the roster, because we know that they had just this incredible roster of talent, like old timers, main eventers, young guys that
guys
would be
that
legends,
and guys that can get that fresh off of Best of Super Juniors run, or fresh off of G1 to say bring your ass and come have a match.
And they had their own signature stars, your Stings, your DDPs. Like, you can't help but to see
Booker
that.
T.
Yeah, Booker T. You can't help but to see that in AEW. Like, it's almost the same kind of thing. I think one day they're going to end up paying for it similarly, as far as, like, maybe they lose somebody. Like, we always talk about how there's only so many spots, towards the top. And,
they already lost one. There are two or one, but technically two, but really one. Like, Cody is not Cody without AEW.
Absolutely not.
Like, and no one's even. And if you want to pretend as such, okay, I was there when he left. That man got his ass on planes, on buses, on in cars, and went around the Indies and went to Japan to make this shit pop for him. He found the right people to do it with, and it all worked out for him. And he was doing really well, and he did a lot of really good things in AEW. It raised his star profile when it was time to go. It was the right time to go for him, and he went, and look what's happened since. He's been the 1B to WWE ever since he showed up.
Yeah, and I think some of that will come down to Tony Khan's relationship management. I think it'll come down to eventually, like, WWE's never going anywhere, so they're always going to be coming for whatever you have developing. So you got to do everything. Like, you got more money, So you got to outbook them, you got to outscout them, and there's evidence of that. That happens like definitely on the scouting end. You look at the next class of people that they're looking to elevate, and I just think in WCW the things that I loved about it were I love the mid carders like Ice Train. I love to see Hugh Morris. I love Conan when he was out there. The NWO, I loved the NWO still, even except Hogan. I never liked Hogan. Like, like it's just, except his promo is fucking awesome when he forms the NWO. Like it's unquestionable.
I mean, he had
Look, man, Hogan was that nigga.
Hogan. If you go back and watch them promos, they were mostly good promos.
Yeah.
Now, were they? Was he, breaking kayfabe by saying some shit that you be like, wait, what that mean? Sure, but as a wrestling nerd, I loved it.
Yeah.
So it worked for me. The
cruiserweight division, just like, bro, I would love when fucking Hector Garza Sr. would come out there and Silver King, and fucking Ultimo Dragon, Ray, Jericho, Eddie, like that was the real Eddie Guerrero.
Psychosis, Ultimo Dragon,
yeah,
Liger.
Like people talk about the Eddie Guerrero in WWE, the big version. I'm like, that's not my Eddie. My Eddie Guerrero is in 1997
with a crazy mullet,
long mullet, wet, and just coming like to the ring. Yeah.
We all haven't seen
that was real friendly problems after that world. Hey, what's going on here? All right, go ahead.
We all haven't seen.
But Dean Malenko. Yeah, like Guerrero would come out there and just move at a pace that I just never like. It's not that I never saw it. It's just like, oh, why the rest of y'all don't do that? Like, and because I didn't know any better. Like the first show that I watched, the opening match is Chris Benoit versus Jushin Thunder Liger, and then later on that same show is Shinjiro Otani versus Eddie Guerrero. So I came into the game essentially watching the real shit, and then Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart. And the thing was with WCW, I watched both. I never had like any type of, this is better than this is whatever. Like I don't fuck with this. Like it wasn't like that in the 90s, at least for me.
Right.
I know probably on message boards and whatever the fuck.
Yes,
that was like that.
But much like how the Twitter and social media is not the real life, the message boards are definitely not real life. Right. The same battle, same dumb, picking sides thing, but like. When I'm a year older than you. Like I was watching both pay-per-views, right? I was watching both shows when I could. Once Nitro happened, I had a VCR. Whichever one I was watching live, I would record the other one and I'd watch, right? The next day. And then like when there were pay-per-views, and then the pay-per-views, all that kind of stuff. Like all of the kids in the school, I would whichever one we're all watching this one. Okay, I'll record the other one or whatever else, and when I'm done with it, I was literally give y'all a VHS of the other one. I was a preteen tape trader. I didn't make any money, but I was just like, okay, all right, Justin, Cody Reed. I went to a white school, if you could tell by those names, but whatever. So yeah, man, so for me, when all this stuff is happening, I'm just like, this shit is dumb. Like, what? Watch what you watch, and if it's really good, enjoy it. Like when WWE has something awesome happening, it's awesome. When AEW has something awesome happening, it's awesome. And like that's been the spirit of everything with 1H Radio. Is like we are pro fan. Like you want to watch awesome stuff, or you enjoy pro wrestling. Trust me, if you think we're down on X, Y, or Z that you like a lot, give what we are putting above it a try and see if you like it. Like we haven't been covering Stardom for a while, but like Stardom's kicking ass, Side Commentari's kicking ass. When we were talking about Tanahashi's retirement a couple months ago, and that was fucking awesome. This is the best match I've seen this year. So yeah, like that's always been the spirit of our friendship around pro wrestling and then this show.
Yeah.
So it's for us. We like, why is everybody acting like this? And obviously, we get it, but it's like this isn't how it used to be when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just not.
Shout out my man Heavenly Halbert, $10 super chat.
Appreciate it.
RLPW.
Yes.
Yeah. Heavenly Halbert gave me a really interesting hot take to react to about Tetsuya Naito and Hiroki Goto.
Oh, so it was his fault or their fault?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
Okay.
So I was like, that is juicy.
Rich mentioned that to me off air, and I was like, all right. Now, normally we're good to kick Naito in them crummy ass, rusty ass knees whenever we got a chance, but it's like, hey man, I don't know if we. I don't know about that one. That's a bit too much. That might be a bit too much. And that's not no knock on Goto. Goto's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but so is Naito, goddammit. We gotta stop acting like he's not. Has Trish talked to you about this?
No,
I haven't watched that one. What was your opinion on that, real quick?
So it was basically like, okay, match for match, who would I rather watch? Hiroki Goto. Absolutely.
Oh, definitely a higher floor.
And then I was like, he's one of the best offensive wrestlers I've ever seen.
Yep.
Incredible moveset, fire, all that shit, right?
I think he was the first one I've ever seen do an Ushigoroshi. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Right. And I was just like, hold on, bro. Like, but I was like, there's a charisma gap. And then, like, they did a lot of geeking of Goto.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of bridesmaiding.
And not that they didn't do it to Naito, but Naito had the group, he had the shirts, he had the charisma, he had the popularity, and he had the ceiling in comparison to the floor because he could get right up there, like, amongst those guys. And not that Goto couldn't get up there with those guys. I bet if we, like, I looked up their ONR metrics. Naito's was like 85 and Goto's was 70, I believe. It was something like that.
Which is still impressive given that Goto was lower on cards.
Right. So it was like, all right, like Naito got plenty of opportunities. So like maybe I was like, maybe there's something to that, but I just can't go that far and just say, you know what?
And there's also this, right? I'd be willing to bet like most of the damage that Goto was doing was in G1s while Naito was fucking off, because Naito was good to fuck off in G1s.
Yeah, but back to WCW. I think for me the thing I missed, like while AEW didn't exist, and it was just whatever WWE said. It was just whatever their history said it was, and then WCW history is now owned by WWE.
Yep.
They've got the WCW Vault YouTube channel, which is a really good thing. Like, I know the Vault isn't exactly the WWE Network, but it's like
nothing will ever be the WWE Network. Nothing.
Yeah, what it is now, it's free, and it's like something that you can watch a lot of different stuff and learn and enjoy different things up there. But I wish they utilized the WCW stuff better. Over the years, I wish there was more kind of respect for it rather than just it being viewed through the WWE lens. Because for a lot of people, they watched WCW when it closed, they never came back. And then, maybe they showed up to AEW, maybe they didn't. But for me, seeing like the end of WCW and then when like, you always know when WCW switched is when that logo fucking changed and the stage changed. And it's like that looks like a starship, and it was like I
hated that logo. I never got it.
Yeah, it's like that's not it. Like I remember the part where I was falling out of WCW, watching it regularly. It was like that double elimination tournament, I think, right when Russo got the book, and I was trying to follow along with it. I was like, I like the concept. I'm very sports tournament based and stuff like that, but it was just everything kept changing so much, and then it was almost unrecognizable towards the end. Eventually gets sold, to Vince, and Bischoff can't get it. Bischoff, he fucks off, with his talent management. There's just so much to WCW that I don't even think the books and podcasts have necessarily captured in a way to fully like. I feel like there's still so much more about it because WCW should be the ultimate lesson in a rise and a fall and a memory of what is possible with pro wrestling, because for all intents and purposes they should have won. They had the plays or whatever. Like they had the playbook, they had the talent, they had the future set up, but they could never see the future. They just like never. They thought it was always going to be 1996 and 1997, and they were like, "We're just gonna stay pat hand." And from there, it disintegrates. So, if anything, I think bookers can learn is just always have one eye on the future. Always be looking for the next guy behind the next guy, and don't get caught out here, like Bischoff, because you too could be selling meat from a truck in Minneapolis,
Oh man, yeah, it sucks that there was literally like, almost 2 decades where there were like no, there was only one major pro wrestling company in America. It sucked.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that's not the case anymore. Like if you're in a bad situation, you can get your ass out and go to the other place. And then if you don't like that, you can come right back and you can go out there and be one of the best wrestlers in the world so far. Because Andrade is exactly what Andrade did. So, yeah.
So, moving on. The Jigga Man. James, some people told me Jay-Z is not a stadium artist. Jay-Z's not this.
No. Can you restart restart that, and then like between each pause you press the fa, please? Yeah. I need more emphasis on this.
So the Jigga Man, Jay-Z, Hove, has announced a series of concerts to commemorate Reasonable Doubt, The Blueprint, and when both of those shows sold out, he announced a third one called Extra Innings. All at Yankee Stadium, the spot where the Yankees played, made the Yankee hat more famous than the Yankee did. All these people said Jay-Z wasn't no stadium artist. All these people that swore that this was some guy with this this awful argument of saying, what about this year? There's this rapper bigger than him. This year, he was never the man. All that shit is stupid. Every day a star is born, James. They come, they go. The only thing that lasts is the Jigga Man. They said he was Beyonce's husband only. They said they were writing fan fiction about LeBron James being with Beyonce because they hate that man's guts. What is wrong with them? They think Rock Nation owns the world. They think there's conspiracies to keep the Jigga Man on top. Not 5 classic albums. Not Reasonable Doubt. Not In My Lifetime. Not Hard Knock Life. Not The Blueprint. Not The Dynasty. Not The Black Album. What is wrong with them? The greatest rapper of all time. They think he's the Illuminati.
No, they think Rock Nation is Illuminati, and yeah, they've been doing it since like the late 2000s. This Illuminati shit. It's man. This is very satisfying. Jay-Z's one of my 3 favorite rappers of all time. Depending on the day, whoever I heard last is either Jay-Z, Biggie, or T.I. for me, right? And for years, I've had to deal with, as we talk about, The internet's not real life. Social media is not real life. And I've had to deal with this from just anecdotally, like from hearing when I was in high school. In high school, that people were tired of Jay-Z because no one had ever been like on a run that long in rap. When you hear people, I think for younger people, when they hear people to compare rap to sports, they think it's kind of ridiculous because it's like, what do you mean? If you rap, you just continue rapping, right? But it was very youth based. And Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt came out at a time when he was already older, right? He's older than Nas. Nas came out 2 years before Reasonable Doubt, with Illmatic, right? So locally in New York, people are already kind of like, I ain't really, he may have had a classic, but like I remember him when he had a different flow, and that flow was Buns, right? And now he switched up to Mafioso thing, and it's like, oh, he's biting off big, right? And then, there's the power vacuum of Biggie dying, and then everybody, Nas and Jay-Z and everybody else coming for trying to
King of New York.
reach King of New York and fill that power vacuum, right? And at the end of it, whether it was Nas or Jay-Z or DMX, ultimately at the end of it, the person that won was Jay-Z. And out of those three, if you ask me who was the most skilled rapper out of all those three, my answer is Nas. If you tell me who was the one that set the party off and had the biggest hits at that time, the answer for me would be DMX. So I kind of get why people were looking at it like, that's the guy but yeah, that's the guy. He's the one that actually found the balance between both.
He's the one with the albums like that just never stop being dope.
Right. He's the one that can get that maybe for every time DMX makes a party up, he can make I Just Want to Love You. And then for every time Nas makes a The World Is Yours, he can make a song cry. Or he can make
Dead Presidents.
Literally Dead Presidents. Right?
Or he can make Dead Presidents 2.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going. You're going to get me going on another tangent or whatever else. I'm not going to get into that. But Dead Presidents 1 over 2 forever, just like Who You With number 1 over 2 forever too, or as well. So for me, to get to that point, and to see he lasted long, I would hear people down here in Florida and they'd be like, "Get him out of here. We're sick of him." Like, this is like 2000. This is before Black Album, so this is like 2002, and they're like, "Get him out of here. I'm sick of him." It's 2002. You're sick of him for being on a 6-year run? What are we talking about? So it was just interesting to hear this, and I'm not talking about just Southerners. I'm not doing that. I'm talking people like
that. You want to talk about that whole thing where the entire South hates Jay-Z? Like,
that's nonsense.
Like,
that's nonsense. There is
or the South don't fuck with Jay-Z. I'm like, you are lying. Like,
that's nonsense. And you want to know why? Because Jay-Z was one of the first up north rappers. Now, I want you to hear me. Up north rappers. I'm not talking about the Midwest. I'm like Bone Thugs. I'm not talking about the West Coast like E40 or Tupac or Too Short. Right? They recognized like outside. This was a whole local game. Like, so I've always compared. We always do this comparison to rap in wrestling. Rap was a brick and mortar game. It's before streaming is similar, is also like streaming for pro wrestling, where it's like, okay, it's like the territories. Literally, like the biggest market is New York City. So all of the tastemakers in this industry, all in New York City, all the gatekeepers in New York City, they're only putting on from any of the 5 boroughs, those people, right? And that's it, because that's all they know. They feel like they don't need to.
And they can't travel no further.
Find more rap because this is the birthplace of rap, right? Hip hop. It started out at the park, right? So that was literally like commercial rap. I'm not talking about KRS-One real hip hop and the MCing part. I'm talking about like commercial rap. So we're talking about like, 15 years of this thing, and that's what the ground game. So if you're in New York, that's all you need to check for, and that's all that matters. You'll get your MTV rap, you'll get your BET, you'll get your radio. And everybody else that has a rap station or is playing black music in a local station, they playing the New York stuff and they playing their local stuff outside of that. Then, but outside of that, like outside of up north, you had all these different regions that were playing each other's music. So you go Memphis, Atlanta, Miami, California, LA or Oakland, Detroit, Cleveland. You had all these places making music and would work with each other. Up north didn't have to do that, so they didn't give a fuck about it. Jay-Z's one of the first guys to be like, hey,
like, I'll rap with Too Short. I'll fucking rap with Juvenile. I'll send him a verse on the house or whatever. It was trash, but
yes,
I'll do something with it. I'll work with UGK. I'll do some shit like that. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
but this is the thing that Jay-Z, because Jay-Z is we talked about this on Doc's podcast, right? Yeah. About like Dead Presidents as a first single to launch a rapper into stardom might be the truest mission statement for what this rapper stands for and what they will stand for and symbolize going forward, which is ruthless capitalism. But right here is via the drug trade. But he's a ruthless capitalist. He saw and recognized, hey, I used to try to allegedly I transported drugs from the South to back and forth from up here to the South, right? I also recognize that this is a black musical genre, and most black people live in the South. So where there are people that will buy these things, or people that will buy these records, or will taste make for eventually, who ultimately does buy this stuff, white people, they're going to need black people around them that's going to play the music too, on the radio, in the cars, passing by, or whatever else. And maybe white people will then buy these things. Ultimately, I make good music, but I want to sell as many records as possible. And that was Jay-Z. Like,
I'm going to expand.
Yeah, it was all about expanding. So you see, as you mentioned, the Too Short stuff, the Juvenile stuff. He's worked with everybody.
Killer Mike, right? Big Boy, fucking all these people.
He's worked with
giving people album slots.
He's worked with everyone. Literally everyone at this point, right? So, there was that. So from there was always that appreciation from Southern rap, rap fans that, hey, this guy is doing these things that other guys we would like to see do this, right? Like having Raekwon on, Scooter and Barbie on, Aquemini was fun, right? For me, I appreciated that, but there's also people that are like, hey, yeah, we appreciate it, but there's also this part of like, it was the people that were like bad faith, don't really listen to rap, whatever. Like they were like, I'm sick of him, and they're also like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about no Nas. I'm like, you don't hear whatever. Okay, fine. Like
you
Nas ain't like okay. But anyway, so to see flash forward, I've always heard that coming up down here, right? And I always thought like I just like it's similar to the wrestling. I just like good rap.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Pastor Troy. it could be Goody Mob. It could be UGK. I don't give a fuck. If it sounds good and I like it, I'm gonna play it. I don't care where it's from. It could be Tupac. It could be that. It could be Snoop. Whatever. I don't care where it's from. So, it was just weird to go from that to the internet age, where, like, as I mentioned, people were sick of him that are in my age range, that saw him at an age where, like, we're like 10. Imagine you get that feedback loop from people our age and then younger people, right? Like, yeah. I don't know what Daniel's relationship to Jay-Z is outside of just like, oh, you know, really good, but like, I don't know if he's ever heard the Black Album in its entirety. I don't know if he's ever heard the Blueprint in its entirety. I don't know if he's ever reasonable doubt. Nah, I have no idea. So I'm sure he hasn't if he hasn't heard those two. But so you hear that feedback loop, and then obviously the sound evolves, the game has evolved. What Jay-Z and what he was trying to accomplish as far as acclaim, fame, status, or whatever else, those objectives have all changed. Jay-Z was really good at as a ruthless capitalist trying to game the system to have it all, sell a bunch of records, and also critical acclaim, right? That changed. And we saw that with the streaming stuff. We saw that with the mixtape game going crazy, and it changed. So then people's grew up on different set of objectives for what makes you a legend, what makes you a star, and they go back and they're like, what? So they're disconnected from what Jay-Z's greatness was, right? So then you have these conversations about like verses, and there's 20 different rappers apparently that will watch Jay-Z in a verse.
Everyone can beat Jay-Z, James.
Everyone. Migos could beat him in a Takeoff by himself could beat him in a
Future killing Jay-Z.
I take back I forgot the RLPW. I'm sorry. Offset could take out anybody in a verse. He could take out Jay-Z in a verse, right? By himself. And I'm just like, all right, man. And obviously it's not a real place. People just getting off nasty shit or whatever else. People trying to get they pennies and cents from Elon's Twitter fucking blue check. But then you have the hive extremists. I identify as a hiver as well, but I'm not a hive extremist, right? Like like as you mentioned, the LeBron Beyonce made up a fair thing, and they talk about Blue Ivy, who looks more like Jay-Z than Beyonce, being LeBron's child, which is fucking absurd, right? So for me, you have that, and then you have why is Jay-Z always attaching himself to these Beyonce tours? And I just wish Jay-Z's trifling ass could be trusted, so he's not out here, being attached to these tours, so that I can just experience Beyonce. And it's like, so you don't want to open an act? What's wrong with y'all? You want to go to a concert as an opening act? The opening act is so people can show up late, so they can arrive when the main act shows up late.
Foolish.
Like apply that logic to Lauryn Hill. Oh, now you want to open the act instead of being there bored for 3, 4, 5 hours. Oh, okay. So anyway, so when people say Jay-Z didn't really have no motion, this, that, and the third, is like, okay. When I saw that shit in the expensive ass Yankee Stadium in July in New York was gonna be hot as fuck in an outdoor stadium. When I saw all them tickets sold out twice immediately, and there was a waiting line of over a million people, I was like, oh, this is what real life is. Not the internet.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you want to go to real nasty, I'll give you another one. Jay-Z adds the extra innings. That also sells out. Now, we have seen in recent memory a lot of these acts put on these showcases in touring or whatever stage presentation they have in recent memory to then highlight and present themselves as, hey, I'm a big enough artist. I got the catalog for it. I got the hits for it. I'm a legacy act. And I'm doing something recently. Hey, whether it was Lil Wayne, whether it was Chris Brown, whether it was Kendrick Lamar, whether it was Usher, it was like, hey, I want a Super Bowl halftime performance. Now, Jay-Z, if he wanted a halftime performance, he can do it because he's on the board for picking it. Now, given what next year is, I don't know who's coming out to go get that. I mean, everybody eventually knows Taylor Swift's going to have one of these, but it's like, hey, what if Jay-Z want to be real nasty and want to turn up the rock?
Me.
And about
it's like Rockefeller Super Bowl, nigga.
I sold out the Yankee Stadium 3 times. I deserve a Super Bowl halftime show because he does. He's deserved one for years, for decades even.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if it happens, I don't care what any of you have to say on Twitter.
Play this segment back. Play all the files.
One of Jay-Z's favorite lines. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Now, if you're as high as Jay-Z, you can juke the numbers, right? We've seen Jay-Z juke the numbers, right? With some of these, that pre-sold, was it a Magna Carta Holy Grail with that pre-sold million record, already platinum shit? Right, we've seen him do nasty stuff. But look, it ain't like he didn't have no motion. People act like he ain't never had no motion. You think Beyonce was getting with a nigga that had no motion?
Outright lies.
You think you idolize somebody that wanted to be with somebody that had no motion? Got cheated on and stayed with him because he had no motion?
Amazing.
What would that mean for your self-esteem if you idolize this woman that's been out here getting dogged out like this? If he ain't no motion. Look, help break Nashley, Young Jeezy, Rick Ross. No motion. Okay, got it. Makes sense.
Rihanna.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Kanye West.
Yeah. No motion. None. Makes sense. Legit.
Yeah.
Never thought about it that way, but you're right. Yeah. Y'all got it. Got it.
Have at it. The Jigga Man will remain on top like the sun, as he once said. So something that is not remaining on top right now is James's North Carolina Tar Heels. Ooh, baby. And first round exit from the tournament this year. Hubert Davis
blew a huge lead.
Probably given his box and sent out of here, But this is tough, man. When's the last just when I'm thinking about it, like Dean Smith retires in the late 90s. Yeah. Guthrie is around, but he's not a long-term answer, so they go with Doherty.
Guthrie's even that short time still gets into a Final Four.
Yeah. Doherty and then obviously Roy Williams comes in, which is like, right. Oh yes, this is
that Doherty shit. That was a rough 3 years.
Yeah, and then Roy Williams ends up eventually retiring in like 2021, wins 3 national titles.
Three national titles in 4 title games.
Yeah, and he's essentially like Dean Smith 2.0. So like,
he won more than Dean did.
I mean, look at that. And then, it goes to Hubert Davis, who was a guard, I believe, in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken.
So he was before before Kenny Smith. So yeah.
And, wins probably one of the biggest wins in the history of the program. You
mean the history of the sport, not the program, the sport.
You can say that.
Final four game in K's last season? Yeah. Is sent his ass home with an L against in the biggest rivalry in the sport? Oh. Look.
I'm going to ask now.
There is a reason why they got rid of Hubert Davis without getting nasty and leaking no nasty shit. Right? They was like, "Hey man, great man, but this is not the standard in North Carolina." That is a consistent statement about this everywhere we go. You want to know why? Because that man sent K the fuck out of here. He put Mike Krzyzewski on the 2021. Fuck out of here show. We didn't do that, but I should have nominated him in retrospect. I should be like, just to be nasty to Rich, but I didn't do that. I didn't think about it at the time. And I wish I had, if I could turn back time. Anyway, go ahead.
But since that moment, I'm going to ask, did he sell his soul to do that? Because like ever since that point, the program has been...
Yeah. Look, blew that lead in national title game, right?
Yep.
The next year brings everybody from that run back.
Number 1 team in the nation.
Preseason number 1. And they laid an egg the whole year.
We all heaven sent.
Then the next year, I think they were a 1 seed. And they got bounced early. And then the last 2 years have been bounced out first round. Now this year, obviously Caleb Wilson, a guy that's one of those potential franchise changes. Look, man, there's a lot of Amari Stoudemire there. Not saying he's Amari Stoudemire. There's a lot of Amari Stoudemire there. Just ready to dunk on your ass, right? But missed games, And it's just mainly is like people are talking about that record of, oh my God, he's 120 something and 50 something in North Carolina in his 5 years, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you think North Carolina's supposed to lose 50 or 10 games a year? That's not Roy Williams standard. That's not Dean Smith standard. And I was telling you, like, I went off the roller coaster because I was like, it's an even number year. I expect this year for them to be good, and they were mostly good, and they were really good when Caleb Wilson was healthy. And then he fucked up his hand, and they were out, and he ended up blowing that lead against VCU in the first round. And it's like, all right, well, what is North Carolina doing being a 5 or 6 seed or whatever else? They it wasn't just Caleb Wilson. It was also hitting the portal and getting ringers. They had 3 really good guys on that team. The word is money showed up and said, we've had enough.
Yeah, and
we will be pulling funding.
You do the direct comparison to John Shire since then, and like Shire's like wiping the floor with North Carolina, like in comparison.
And granted, right? Like the ACC, just like in football, is lagging behind in the TV splits for NIL and the money for all that stuff, right? So like, you have the former Pac-10 teams that are in the Big Ten, and they're doing well. Big Ten's doing well. SEC basketball matters, right? That's because of TV stuff. And Carolina is one of them schools like Florida State and Clemson that want to get the fuck out the conference. And right now they're dealing with a longtime AD Bubba Cunningham. He's transitioning to a new AD, which I wasn't aware of. I was like, once they got bounced, I messaged you. I was like, hey man, Bubba Cunningham is going to be like, we not doing this again. So there's all that stuff in transition, and it's like, all right, well, if people, and also one thing that came out recently, the only thing was like Hubert Davis. He's still the same reason why Roy left. He's like, I don't want part of this NIL shit. Like Hubert Davis clearly did not want any of this NIL shit. Like his fundraising was lagging behind.
Mm-hmm. And it's just not the game no more. And
right,
it's guys that are gonna hit the portal hard and then be great recruiters on top of that. Like Shire is the one that got Zion basically, and that was back during K. So like, if you got a ringer like that that's on your staff, that's a natural progression, for at least on the Duke side. But
right, like if you Shire has proven himself to be an organizer, a good organizer, and if that's not what you want to do, you just want to coach, cool. Take it to somewhere else besides North Carolina, at Chapel Hill. No disrespect, right? But nah.
So
the standard's the standard, and if you ain't, and that is college sports. Like you got arguably the best job in the country, and you did not hold up your end, and you got half a decade. And you got half a decade because your numbers up in the rafters. If you had been an outsider, you wouldn't have got 5 years. You would have got 4. You would have got fired last year.
And allegedly they're going to open up the search to outsiders, but I've gathered a list, James. You're muted.
Oh, which I'm happy about because for years I always said, hey man, this is cronyism. Or sorry, this is cronyism, nepotism. Like this is a buddy system, and that's just just like we always talk about with stuff when it comes to race or gender when it comes to hiring. It's like you are literally cutting yourself off from a percentage when you do this, from a certain percentage of the population that can do this job. Because it ain't just only one person that is qualified to run these jobs. Like there may be only one Nick Saban, but there's a handful of Ryan Days and Dan Lannings and Kirby Smarts, right, that can do this, right? Like just find somebody with a track record of success and just port it to North Carolina, and there you go. And I'm not saying that is a North Carolina thing. I believe that at Duke. I believe that at Kansas. I believe that well, maybe not Kentucky as much, but those 3 for sure.
So I've gathered a list of the Carolina family that I think I want to run by James and get his approval on or denial here. So we're going to start with Kenny the Jet Smith.
No. The only person trying to get this nasty shit off is Stephen A. Smith. This man has no coaching background as in the NBA or college basketball. Why the fuck would he get this job? He wouldn't have got this job if this was a decade ago. What are we talking about?
So, no for Kenny Smith.
No.
Up next, we got a great point guard that was on the sideline, or not the sideline, 3-year guard, I believe. It was in the league for a little bit.
Oh shit! I know where you're going.
Ty Lawson.
Oh, so I know that you said Ty Lawson, knowing that man got DUIs and all sorts of nasty. So I know where you going next. I thought you was talking about somebody else that was a first-round draft pick that played 3 years at Carolina. But I'm sure he's on the list next.
It might
Go
not
ahead.
be. It might miss it.
I know you. There's no way. There's no way he's not on this list.
Roy Williams. Bring Roy back. What he doing? He go to the games anyway.
Roy be at all the games. That shit's like, bro, when Carolina beat Duke, right? I forgot to send it to you, but there's a picture of someone on the floor in the tunnel where he's elevated seats, right? Or Roy's sitting in that elevated seat. There's someone that's taking a shot picture up at him like this, and Roy's like, yeah! And I'm just like, Roy got at the right time. Roy's like, I don't want this shit. I'm not dealing with this nonsense of paying players all this kind of money and all this other stuff. I'm out. Y'all deal with it, but I will be at all the games. I enjoy seeing Roy at all the games. Honestly, yeah. I honestly do. But yeah, if you want to bring his ass back, who am I to say no? He's only my favorite He's only my favorite coach in the history of the university of the So yeah.
So up next.
Look, you don't think Alabama wants Saban back right now?
So up next is a guy that I would put in the Greg Paulus category of I feel like you ruined the program. It was another guard here from North Carolina, Larry Drew II.
Oh
James.
Man, it's so funny that his dad was an NBA coach. It's so funny that like he got the keys, he stunk. Like North Carolina basketball is a specific brand of basketball to where Carolina will only ever be as good as his point guard. Well, historically, North Carolina will only ever be as good as his point guard and his bigs. And he was not up for the task of being a point guard for North Carolina. And then they put in Kendall Marshall, and the team took off immediately.
Yeah.
Like they stunk. They made the NIT that year. After they won the title, with Larry Drew getting the keys. Next year they run it back with him. They stink half. That's when Harrison Barnes shows up. They stink half that year. They put in Kendall Marshall, and then the team takes off, right? And then he transfers out and I think goes to UCLA after that. And like he has a good career at UCLA. I think he got drafted, but it was like it wasn't the right fit. It just wasn't the right fit.
Yep. Up next.
But the answer is hell no. Just clarification. Hell no. Hey, if you leave, you can't come back. Sorry. If you leave, you can't come back.
Up next, former national champion, played some years in the league. You mentioned great point guards. Has a popular podcast now.
Here we go.
Raymond Felton, come on down, baby.
No coaching history. Sorry. No. You can have this job if you are not on the bench somewhere. If you're not coaching somewhere in college, the answer is no. It's automatically. No, I'm not doing this with you. No. Love Ray, but no.
Next one. All-time legend. Hall of Famer. Played many years in the NBA. A legend in Canada. Great dunker. Played 3 years at Carolina. Loved the university so much he completed his 4-year degree.
This is nasty.
Vince Carter.
No, man. You can't love North Carolina that much. Like, so for those that don't know, Vince Carter before Game 7 of a playoff series flew down to North Carolina to walk for his graduation ceremony, fly back up, and then promptly lose while playing poorly against the Sixers in the second round, the year that the Sixers made in 01, the year the Sixers made it to the playoffs. And I have never
We
forgiven
all
him
have
for that
been
ever
sent.
since. Never forgiven for. I was like, hey man, you could walk anytime. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want to add jet lag before Game 7 of a playoff series?
Bro, he would get like killed for that now.
I know. That's why I've never forgiven him.
So, up next,
This is Mamba mentality at its finest. Vince Carter and Kobe Bryant were of similar skills in athleticism. This turned out the way Vince did. Kobe turned out the way Kobe did. Mamba mentality is a real thing. Like it's overstated, overhyped, overrated, but it's still a thing that existed. Okay.
you know, like I said in the song, to the mob mentalities and all y'all, that was the power of Christ compels you. That was essentially that. So up next, we got a former.
You saving the best for last, huh? Because you're getting nastier with the Vince one. So now I'm assuming there's only
we got four more. We got four more on the list.
Okay. Let's hear them.
We got a former national champion, icon, somebody who perhaps everyone cares about the program for anyway. Success on the court, success in business. Some say he's the greatest player to ever play this game, James. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, come on down, baby. Could you imagine that? Michael Jordan?
No, I could not imagine Michael Jordan. I could not imagine Michael Jordan coaching North Carolina. Absolutely not. That'd be a fucking disaster. He would break every single one of them kids.
He be trying to play a one-on-one and shit.
First off, you see how happy he is when his race car team with his country. See that's the thing, right?
That nigga loves them NASCAR races, boy.
And look, here's the thing, right?
You think he be calling up Brad Daugherty and talking shit?
Oh yeah. I think he'd be calling up Randy Moss too. Here's the thing, right? People like Brad Daugherty, when you hear their accent, you know, like, hey, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
Like this, like, why is this gigantic light-skinned black man have a country voice like a white man, right? Why was Randy Moss having his own race team, right? Back in the day, right? They had these accents where you'd be like, oh, okay, Tobacco Road, I get it why y'all get attracted to the country, to super country, I get why y'all want to race cars. Y'all, it's understandable with Daugherty and Moss. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan's level of popularity obscured the fact that he's been obscured the part where like that we really know if you actually like followed his biography, all that kind of stuff. He country as hell. Mm-hmm. Like when we be talking about how you don't like hip hop and rap, it's because he's country as hell. That stuff won't get played around him. This shit alien to him.
Shit.
So yeah, like the race. So back to like the race car stuff. He ain't leaving that for this. You know, he having the thrill of a lifetime when they go out there and win.
Every clip I see of Jordan jumping out
He
on the track.
It's the happiest we've ever seen him. It's the happiest we've ever seen him since he was playing for the Bulls.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to take that from him. No, let him be happy and win them races.
So the next person is a coach, former NBA All-Star. He also bald head as well. Always been bald, pretty much.
Oh, I know. Ready to fight?
Ready to fight.
Yep.
Ain't nobody whoop him. You know, you want a strong leader, you know, to go behind. Jerry Stackhouse, come on down, baby.
There's not a chance that he's getting his job. He's I think okay, so if he had did better in college, at his last stop in college, I wouldn't mind it. It didn't go so well, and then he transitioned fully to the NBA. So I think even if they called him, he'd be like, I'm finna get me an NBA job. I'm not finna deal with no kids. I'll end up punching one of these motherfuckers in their mouth because they got some money in their pocket. So
I love it. I love it.
You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with that.
Number two.
So yeah,
Number two on the list. You know, very unique player in his day. Not an NBA champ. Oh, yes, a former NBA champion. Matchup nightmare on the court. Once said, "The ball don't lie." Rasheed Wallace, come on down, baby. Knows the game, you know.
some could argue he was the head of the game. He was shooting threes before it was cool as a big man. Look, man. Obviously the answer is no, but like
I got multiple Sheed shouts in the comments.
there are several athletes, baseball, football, basketball, that whenever I see a clip of them doing a podcast with anybody, I can't help myself. But I'm literally attracted like a moth to the flame.
Yeah.
Like I can't not watch this when it pops up on my feed. And like whenever I hear KG got to talk about something, I got to hear it. Whenever I hear Rasheed Wallace talk about something, I got to hear it. There's others as well, but those two from the NBA perspective, I absolutely have to hear anything they're on. Absolutely. Yeah. Love Sheed, but obviously not. Now obviously Sheed don't want that fucking job.
Get all the texts.
Yeah. I do love the story, the Dean Smith story that Sheed has as far as him recruiting him. He's like
the national title.
The day after they win the national title, he's in his mom's house. He's like, "What are you doing? Shouldn't you be doing? I'm here. I'm right where I need to be."
Yeah. Worry about the future. You know.
Yeah.
And then the last guy, former national champion.
Mm-hmm. Lottery pick.
Uh-huh. All-American.
Yeah, he was All-American.
First team All-American.
Was he?
I believe so.
Huh. Okay.
Ward number 32. One said, he could get Kobe's 81.
I knew it.
Rashad McCants. Come on through. The number
Boys
one
out the mud. Boys out the mud. I'm sorry. Boys One Nation Radio. Ain't no way in fuck. First off, I'm glad you mentioned like literally the only person from North Carolina family that's literally excommunicated. After that shit, nah, man, get out of here. Don't ever come back on campus.
So basically, I said that to say, yeah, good luck, nigga. Like, good luck.
Yeah. Like now, obviously those aren't the real people. Like Sean May and people like Wes Miller would be people that you would consider like if you're going to actually pick somebody from the coaching as a head coach with experience, whatever else that you could pull up a list with Carolina connections to keep it in the house. But it's like no, this job doesn't need that, right? Like I used to make the comparison of like when people always talk about Michigan men, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, nah, man. Hire you a good ass coach that you know can do the job, and that'll take care of itself. And then you can, and then if you want to, then you can have your next generation of Michigan men or Carolina guys if you get the right hire. But if you just hiring, somebody that was a star player or was a special person for the team, that's how you end up like Clemson football right now. When half of their coaching staff is Ben Boulware and like Gaines Adams and other people that were like stars or star players at Clemson in their day, and now just because you start them, you know how to play or you know how to coach, and now they can't recruit well, and now they can't coach well, and now they are where they are. And if you do that, you end up where it's like, wow, North Carolina made national championship 5 years ago, and now they feel like they may as well be, I don't know, let's say Maryland.
Fuck Maryland, right?
I just mean as far as like
Yeah.
they are one of the premier outfits historically, and even in the last decade with success, right? And it's like, okay, does it feel like they're still that? Does it feel like they're on the precipice of fucking up for a generation, needing to come back? Because like, there you can look at UCLA, you can look at Indiana. It ain't always sweet if you keep fucking up hires.
Yeah. So let's go on, man. Luka and Wemby in the NBA. Luka's trying to steal this MVP right now.
I mean, they both are.
Wemby's trying to get it. And man, it's a very compelling kind of thing there.
Yeah.
Like these guys have been on fire. Luka's averaged like 40 for a month. Damn near.
Well, not a month, but like it's half a month, or it's over half a month at this point. It's like 7 games, 8 games, something like that. Yeah, which is very impressive. Like, when I was talking about the on the show about the Kobe thing, is like it ain't just the 81 with Kobe. It's that Kobe was in the middle of an all-time heater where he averaged 40 for a month in that in January 2006, and now Luka's halfway to doing it, and the Lakers have won like
10-1,
9 of the last 9 or 9 of the last 10, something like that. Like, luckily, all 3 of their best players are all healthy for the first time this year. But it's like it also involves a part where like Luka's 3 balls started dropping, and he's hotter than fish grease right now. Anybody can come get 40 from him right now. So it's been very impressive to watch, and it makes the in a weird way, like Jokic with his injury coming back and not being Jokic immediately, Jokic-ish, like 90% of Jokic is like open the door for people to look at. It's not just be a 2-man race, and now looking at it as like there's really 3 guys that are like worth talking about right now, and Jokic is and Jokic will put him at 4th, even though he's had back-to-back games of 15, 15, and 15. So like really have 4 guys that are going nuts right now.
Yeah, the Wemby thing is hilarious because Nick Wright is turning into Skip Bayless slowly. I'm enjoying seeing them chickens come home to roost. Everything he was doing for these decades, for this last decade or whatever, is going to be amazing. That man's trying to manufacture that hate train to come towards Wemby.
Yeah,
I love it.
And the part that was funny was like I had mentioned the exact thing that people are doing, and then Nick Wright goes and says like posted like an hour later. I was like, wow, okay, like I have no problem with what he's doing, but we typically don't like when people do this. So how come people aren't bringing the pitchforks out to come get slaughter this guy like they slaughtered the other guys? Like, I'm sorry, that's like saying, hey, when I was a kid, I got abused by my family. So how come I can't abuse my kids? Like, you're supposed to break the cycle, weirdo. You're supposed to help try to break the cycle. You're supposed to be a proponent of breaking the cycle, not continuing it. So yeah, man, like it's weird with Nick Wright, but look, man, I'm at this point now where I watched that Miami Heat game. I didn't watch Dynamite last night. You know what I was doing?
What?
I was watching the San Antonio Spurs play the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis without John Morant.
Yikes.
That game was like, I think it was like 20-something to 6 to start the game, Rich. It was that it was less uncompetitive than that score at that time. And they would just fast break dunks. And man, it's one thing to watch. It's one thing to know this already. It's nothing to watch it after through 2 games of the last 2 games. We thought this was going to happen. I'm here to say it now. Wembanyama is the best defensive basketball player I've ever seen.
Makes total sense. You can cover all that area. You can beat.
You gotta watch a game.
Difference.
When you watch a whole game, it's different from seeing clips of it. He is almost literally. So I remember the 2000 Ravens, right?
Yeah. Ray Lewis,
Rod Woodson, Chris McAllister, Tony Saragusa, Sam Adams, Peter Boulware, right? I remember, I think it was Super Bowl, and Rod Woodson, one of the greatest defensive backs of all time, first team All Pro cornerback, tears his ACL, first team All-Pro, safety. He's having one of his best years that year, and somebody on commentary at one point says, "This guy's special. He's the eraser. If anybody any of these great defenders make a mistake, he's there to erase it, right?" Mm-hmm. And ever since I've heard that thing, I've always thought of that in terms of safeties, right? And also I apply that to like off-ball defenders in the NBA, whether it was like peak LeBron James or it was like whoever's just specifically peak LeBron James, right? So you watch Wemby, and because he's such a physical mismatch to the bigs in the league, or to the average big man. He can just sag off those people, and then just immediately make people make this business decision like, I'm not going in there. Like I might be able to dribble, draw, I might be able to get past my defender and get into the paint, but once I get into the paint, I'm not even going to attempt a shot.
I'm not even
looking at the rim once I get past the paint. I'm just trying to start to get people in rotation. It ain't even trying to get a shot. It's trying to get people in rotation. He's doing shit like that on like every other possession. He is making people go just be like, nah, not even gonna try it. He blocked the 3-pointer last night. He had 7 blocks. He's in 3 straight games now with 5 blocks. And then you watch him on offense, Rich, and like I remember rookie year, I was like, I can't watch this because like they're not getting him the fucking ball. There are times where De'Aaron Fox, Castle, Harper, when I think Harper has some confidence issues, but whatever, with a shot, even Vassell, those guys at this point, they're not looking to get him the ball so he can go to work or whatever else. Like if he's open the perimeter, get it to him and he'll shoot the 3-pointer. It's look, I'm trying to get to the rim because if I get to the rim off a screen or whatever else, if this dude so much as takes a foot towards the rim, everybody goes on high alerts and freaks the fuck out, which then leaves like people like Keldon Johnson or Harrison Barnes for corner threes. Like I don't know if you saw this clip. Apparently, they're like the no team has ever generated more corner threes than the Spurs have already through this season. We're talking the Spurs. The Spurs that invented the corner three.
Yeah.
Wembanyama is outspurring the Spurs because of how much you got to put 2 bodies on him to tag as a roller. And then if he does get the ball before the roll, like now he's finding. I saw this against the Hornets last weekend. He's throwing fucking lobs out as a roll man to Luke Cornett like he's Draymond Green throwing a oop to Andre Iguodala now. I'm like, all right, man. All right.
I'm gonna just say this. Win y'all championships now.
Yeah.
Thunder, Celtics, Pistons. You try to steal something. Lakers.
He's 22, Rich.
Bro.
He's 22. He's played 3 seasons. This is the first season where he's actually going to play a significant amount of games as opposed to being having a quote-unquote injury-prone season. If not for this 65-game rule, he would be working on his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year. He stepped a foot onto an NBA basketball court for a racing game. He was the best defender in the league.
That's incredible.
And he's better now.
Yeah.
Because I watched those games. He was like, okay, this is crazy. But now it's like, he's even better now as a defender. Like, he had a block. He's had a couple blocks now where he pitched, I think it was Bam. He pitched Bam shit, and he did it politely so that it would bounce off the rim politely so he could just come down like a defensive rebound as opposed to just sending the shit into the stands. I was like, okay, he's Bill Russellin people now. And then he did it last night too. He had a little nice polite block and just brought it back down with him. I was like, okay, all right, okay. So look, I saw Elijah Wan, I saw KG, I saw Tim Duncan, I saw peak LeBron, I saw peak Kawhi Leonard. I've seen people like Tony Allen, Scottie Pippen. There is nobody that's ever affected on a possession by possession basis. Because you can have him guarding Tyrese Maxey on a switch, and Tyrese Maxey will have him running half of 400 meters, and then he'll still pitch his shit. The other day I think it was against Miami, he blocked a reverse layup. He's something else, man. And then it's like, look, man, the only thing to hope for is I hope his 3-pointer don't drop tonight. Because if he makes 5 3-pointers in a game, you're done.
Yeah. Jesus Lord.
It's gonna look, man. If he gives us 10 postseasons, healthy postseasons, I'm sorry, my childhood is going to be passed over, flat out, and there's gonna be no debate about it. Like, I think the thing about particular in the context of people, the Nick Wright thing, when people were like, or he was like, how come people aren't, talking about his arrogance? It's because it was one thing when you're LeBron James and you were like the most complete basketball player ever, right? Nobody has a higher level of every single thing in basketball, every skill that needs to be done to be good at basketball. Nobody had that high of a ceiling at every single thing than LeBron James. The versatility, all that, right? But and nobody was ever that what Jordan did was what Jordan did. We talking about 7'4". We talking about 7'4" guy, 7'5" guy with Kevin Durant tendencies.
Yeah.
Nah, man, this is totally different.
And like, Kevin Durant and Bill Russell. Like,
yeah. It's like at this point now, and this was before I started watching him now I'm just on like, I'm going to watch every game I can, right?
Yeah.
But I would send you highlights of whatever game you have, and like, bro, it's every single week he does some shit I don't think I've ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
He's nuts, man. He's nuts. He got dunked on by G.G. Jackson last night, and then the very next play he dunks on him. He dunks on him right back.
Real nigga.
Yeah. So
I love his mentality. Like, he ain't on no sucker shit. I fucks with him.
Yeah.
So
and I think I forgot to finish my point with the why people aren't giving him this kind of pass because he's never played in the playoff games, because we've never seen this before. Like, it's one thing when you're LeBron James and it's like, he's going to be great. We don't know how great he'll be, but we think he'll be one of the greatest of all time. You see him in limited time, in limited games, whatever. You watch him this year and you're like, yo, LeBron never had the potential to be this, because this shouldn't be possible.
I mean,
anybody that's ever had his kind of dimensions breaks down with injury. We never expect a 7-foot+ guy that's wiry and can shoot. We expect him to be Ralph Sampson or Yao Ming or anybody with their navicular bone breaks and they're done.
They say, Bo could do all the same shit, as Wemby.
We all have been sent.
Great call, Shaq. I can't wait till them inside the NBA contracts run out and they done with them.
Oh yeah, look, we was right. We told y'all a year ago.
Yep.
They should have let that show lapse.
Yep.
And everybody could have got a send off. They could have did it all clean at TNT.
Mm-hmm.
All they've done is prove us right.
Yep.
All right, man. Let's get into the wrestling, man.
Okay.
So Dynamite last night. I didn't see last week's, but I did watch this week's show. Led off with a Swerve Strickland.
This was much better than last week's. Last week's show was not good.
Yeah. Led off with the Swerve Strickland Kenny Omega #1 contenders match, and what a fucking match!
Killer match. Not as good as the first one, but still a great match.
Yeah, this nigga. I got a live bias for the first one. I'm gonna say too. So. It was gonna be hard for me.
Rich, look, I wasn't there either one of them, right? But that the Swerve Omega 1, that's a match of the year contender this year, right? Outside minus the Tokyo Dome shit, because that's a level above everything we've seen so far this year. This is just a really, really great match.
Yeah. This nigga comes out.
I'm jealous that you were at the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This nigga comes out dressed like Kenny Omega at Full Gear 2021, the same gear pattern or whatever.
That's what that was.
Angel.
I
saw that shit and I was like, this is right where he lost the belt too. I was like, this psychological warfare ass nigga right here. So I was in disbelief when I saw that shit.
I didn't think about that. I thought about the Danielson match because it's the same gear, right? The white and blue, or the black and blue Omega thing with the right.
Yes, but he basically made a gray one for
right.
That
and
one.
Then also you're right. And then also when he had the one arm sash thing that was hanging off, I was like, okay, this is clearly that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. I didn't think about the part where like, oh yeah, he lost the belt wearing that gear. I didn't think about that. That's that
nigga's light years ahead. I knew nothing about this or whatever. I just saw. I was like, that's incredible.
I thought he was mocking Omega. I didn't know he was mocking him in that way. That's tough.
That's layers upon layers. Like,
yep.
Huge. Like it was like an angle
Kenny Omega new gear.
Rope. I didn't like it. I didn't like Kenny's gear. I was like,
I'm just happy to see that he wanted to wear something new for once.
Yeah. I didn't like it. I know it probably meant a lot to him. I think he had like his cat's print inside the Omega symbol and whatever. That's cool, but
I mean, that's cool until Swerve. That's cool until Swerve gets heat on a pet.
Heat on the cat.
Heat on yes.
It don't look. It ain't heat on the dog. It ain't heat on the dog, but heat on the cat is some we could work with. You know,
heat on the pet is like this nigga went into my koi pond and stole my fish.
But Kenny ended up getting the win with the One Wing Angel. I thought it was a great match. I thought, I saw the freaking the angle slam off the top rope.
That was
awesome. Driver on the fucking on the railing. I was like, bro, these niggas like. Yep. So I think the only thing I might have would have wanted to see in it is some type of acknowledgement of because I believe Aubrey was the ref for this again.
Yeah.
Like, I would have wanted to see like Swerve walk up to her and like some kind of acknowledgement, like, you pulled me in last time. Like, what's the, is this going to be how this going to go again? Like, I don't know how you convey that without speaking per se, but like something like maybe the commentators could have mentioned it if he stared her down.
They should have
too long or something like that.
They should have before he did it later in the match.
Right, but Kenny wins, gets the #1 contendership from Swerve, and is set to face MJF at Dynasty.
Yep.
We immediately went into a Darby Allin video package where they're trying to remind us why we liked and fell in love with Darby Allin all over again.
Mm-hmm. I kind of have to after that casket match he had last week.
Yeah, Darby's had... I think he's colder than he's been in forever. And this is like a way to try to be like, hey, remember this guy? We're going to give him a big push these next couple months. We hope you're there and you're present and you like it.
We're like, yeah, we liked him, but you probably should have pushed him 6 fucking months ago.
And it's going to be like, this shit goes where I think it's going.
I do like the story. Like, all these things are intertwining around. Like, I just love the level of interaction around everybody wanting the AEW World Title. Like, the rankings will never be back, but like, this is essentially what we wanted out of the rankings.
Yeah. If it goes how I think it's gonna go, I think it's gonna expose a lot of what last year's plans were and weren't. So,
okay.
Ospreay wants Pac next week, and he's gonna get Moxley at Dynasty. Video package and all that. He had a mixed trios between the Death Riders and the Top Flight Sky Flight team, so Zeta Steel and Top Flight, who are local. So I guess this is a good part for me to start talking, since I wasn't on the Revolution review, to start talking about Jon Moxley. Now, fantastic wrestler, there's no complaint there. His character dynamics and like everything that's booking around him is absolutely ridiculous. And it is
elaborate.
So like
Please.
it just seems like one thing kind of would happen with him, and I don't know if we're setting ourselves up to expect something, but then it goes the other way. Like the whole thing with the C2 going all the way back, where it looks like
He's going to get turned on.
look like he's about to get turned on. They're building this up, and then all of a sudden he's a snap babyface, beats Fletcher and Okada in one night, then beats Takeshita back on his pay-per-view, then immediately flips back heel. It's just like a bunch of just freestyling and doing what he wants. Stories be damned. Anything else be damned. And it's just like, what is going on here? And then the Death Riders are heels. He's not at certain times. Then he just flips heel on a dime. I think it's the versatility that we say we want, but seeing it in action, it just seems like it is not enough to not be harmful in a sense. And then I think his booking protection is just out of control at this point. It's like you already lost a world title. I think they killed off and buried Konosuke Takeshita. They made him look like a fucking geek in every kind of situation, and to beat him like that and to have him shake his hand, and then I was like, what the fuck is this? And then like I think the Moxley thing, I think he's just I don't know if this was all done to keep him strong for Will Ospreay. I don't know if this was like, it's like seeing the back-to-back wins over Fletcher, Okada, and Takeshita, that shit radicalized me. I was like, all right, nigga, I've had enough. And then along with the character dynamics that are just in constant flux and change to where we don't know how at least I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this person.
So I don't disagree. And I quite frankly, I would add to what you just said. It especially hits that way when Ospreay shows up, and it's been something because Ospreay was gone for 6 months. You forget that they're the ones that put Ospreay out of commission. They have to remind you because you had the C2 run with the bad ankle that was babyfacery, right? And then you have Ospreay show up, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. He's the one that put him on the shelf. So yeah, he is a bad guy. He hasn't redeemed himself, but he already kind of has. But this guy is clearly deserves his vengeance, so we're gonna boo him. And it's like, yeah, that's not. We know they've had an awesome match before in New Japan, or was that New Japan of America? Whichever one. I think it was on one of those American pay-per-views. But like, we know they're gonna have an awesome match. But it's like, the way that Ospreay is selling this, it would have helped if you knew what the fuck you were doing to keep Moxley in this particular as a heel for Ospreay to come back. Now, if Ospreay beats him and that's when they finally pull the trigger on Death Riders kicking him out, fine. But you could have been more. But you could have not shine him as a babyface at different points to do that. And if you knew the plan was this is where we're going, at the end or when we were in December getting ready for the C2.
And I sure hope Ospreay's winning, but with Jon Moxley, like I would have thought Fletcher would have won. I would have thought Takeshita was gonna win.
Takeshita should have won. But Takeshi's the one where it's like, oh, okay, fuck this. Yeah. Or not fuck this, but like, hey, man, this is a person that desperately needed this win, and Jon Moxley was definitely a person to give it to him at this particular point, and it wouldn't have mattered. Especially, right? Given...
It's easier to do everything with Ospreay without a belt.
Right. That, and also, then you throw Takeshita into this thing of like, the Don Callis family, Takeshita has Okada's belt. Okada, they clearly don't like each other. There's gonna be Don Callis involved. There's gonna be Fletcher trying to decide what side he's on.
You're stressing
and all these dynamics will be
so
interesting
long.
for TV. But because these are mostly collision guys, I guess not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Let's put Copeland and Dax back on with the mic on TV, handling most of the work instead, because that's what people care about more than Okada, Fletcher, and Takeshita. Definitely the average AEW fan. Absolutely.
I am fucking furious about Konosuke Takeshita's booking. Like, I don't get it. Whose wife did he fuck? I don't. Great dev. Shout out Dex. He left a $10 super chat. Said, not gonna lie, this is the first pay-per-view since the last MJF reign that I'm skipping. Even my special little guy Mox is on BS now. How do we erase 6 months of character work for all the guys that made All In happen? Ooh, baby.
That's tough. I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but I get how he feels that way.
Yeah. Let me keep going here. Video package for the Young Bucks, pretty much saying they're still coming for it. They had to get him some type of communication after that damn match. Like, them niggas like went crazy in that match, and I didn't really get to talk about that one, but man, like, just from the fucking entrance alone, bro. Like, I was watching it, and not many things in pro wrestling get me to a place of like feeling emotional about things or reflective about life. When I saw them come out there with all them kids, all them baby Young Bucks or whatever, I was like,
all them future second generation wrestlers.
Yeah, I was like, damn, man, like, I wish I was blessed to be a father like that, and come out there with your kids, and then it just hit for me in a way that I don't know. I'm getting softer in my old age or whatever.
And then the uncles are sorry, and then like the brother and the parents are there. Like, it's three generations. It was really fun. It was really cool to see. And then Nick's on the floor bleeding immediately.
Yeah, bro. Like, if they go home off that Meltzer driver, and then that shit sound like Kobe Bryant walked back in the building, bro. Like, it was like,
well.
It was the one.
It wouldn't have sounded like that. But yes, it's something. It would have been crazy.
Yeah, like they finally got their one. They finally got their classic between them. I think
super classic. Yeah.
Hats off to them.
Just the wrong finish. That's all.
Yeah, that's
just the wrong finish.
That's it.
Like the Young Bucks winning that match in the opener. In Staples in front of their family after the way that Nick and Dax were bleeding, that would have been a special. That would have been super special. Still a special match, but I mean, like, I'm talking about, like, it's up there with the Young Bucks' biggest or greatest matches in AEW history, which, what I'm saying, like the short list.
Right.
And it was just the wrong finish. Still an all-time match though.
Yo, make sure y'all hitting that like button, sharing the stream and all that. But yeah, what else we got? They had Speedball go over Rocky kind of in a squash. MJF and Kenny Omega did a dueling kind of promo.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they did this thing. It's God versus the devil.
Yeah.
And all that. And I was like, that's a kind of interesting thing. But it also feels like kind of like a test tube thing. It's like somebody thought of this God versus the devil thing and decided that's the selling point for it. It's like it's just written to be on posters and stuff like that. And I just gotta say, I didn't.
Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead. Finish it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kenny did most of the talking here. I don't think what he said, was bad or anything. I just didn't feel the energy, and it was just like, maybe it's just week one, but the thing is, they don't got that many weeks to really,
they only got 2 more shows left.
Right. They don't really got, all the time to, really build it up like that. So, if MJF beats Kenny Omega, I think, how we all kind of freaked out last year after Dynasty, I would say prepare for part 2 there. There was nothing that sold me on Kenny Omega is about to, like, end this shit. But I could be wrong. Never know.
So, when Kenny Omega had to say out of his mouth, "The pro wrestling God versus the devil," I could see the diverticulitis in his eyes. He didn't want to be there. It was very similar to when he made that face by the ring ropes with Jericho before he had to cash say, "I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm about to almost die." I can feel that energy. I was like, he don't want to be here saying this stupid shit. Somebody put him up to say this shit, and he had to go through with it.
So
poor Kenny.
Yeah, it's just like, can we just ring the bell? Like, can we
God
get
versus the devil?
I was like, can we just sit down?
Look, I hack wrote that. I'm sorry, I hack wrote that. I ain't gonna say no names, but I hack wrote that.
But yeah, I saw it and I was like, all right, they're gonna do a contract signing next week, so they'll talk again, and I'm sure MJF will do his cut downs of Kenny, and Kenny will answer him and fire up. It just feels like it's about to be very by the numbers. It feels like, okay, this is James. Did you know this is the first time Kenny Omega will ever challenge for the world title on pay-per-view?
Okay, so let's see. What was his first title shot? Was it Winners Coming?
Moxley.
Okay, so that was TV. And then the other time would be what, MJF last year or 2 years ago?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Amazing. Talk about time wasted. So
it's called All Elite Wrestling. How many times do I have to say this? Why do I feel like I have to say this like three or 4 times a year? It's called All Elite Wrestling. Now, granted, like I said, they've done a really good job of not over-relying on the Elite the same way that they did with the NWO. I'm just saying, people want to dance with the people that brought them to the show,
Look, man,
has been out of the title picture long enough for it to be now. If he's healthy enough and up for it, if he wants to do it. I kind of want to see a Kenny Omega babyface title run in AEW. I've only been asking for it since the inception of the fucking promotion.
Yeah, like, I wish that Kenny Omega wanted it. Look, I don't know him personally, right? Been fortunate to interview him before, but I can't want it or feel like I want it more than he does.
Right.
At this stage. Like,
I'll give him this. He's doing better than he was out here doing them stupid ass weightlifting skits with Michael Nakazawa back in 2019. So he's doing better in that regard. So yeah, same thing.
He's going out there. He's having the great. Swerve did a lot for Kenny to get him built up again, to get him to this point. For me, it would be a waste, to beat Kenny here and send him back when so many people are clamoring for the babyface title run, for the living legend, the god of pro wrestling, to take his spot, that everybody in the promotion respects him, in the company, all the fans. This is the fucking guy that brought everybody to the fucking dance, like, in a roundabout way. Like, it's like every new wrestler that comes in, they want to test themselves against Kenny Omega. They want their dream match with him. They want to have their 5-star match with him. Like, there's only so many years we're going to have left with him. Hell, maybe year, no plural. So at this point, it's like it feels like a do or die situation here, and it just feels like it's going to be very interesting whenever the end of Kenny Omega's AEW career is. The day I sit down and basically break it all down, I'm going to feel like a lot of time was wasted, a lot of things weren't capitalized on, and we missed a lot of opportunities when we could have deployed them in bigger and better situations, and they did not. Over and over again. You mean
he spent like the first 3 years of promotion getting over a guy that can no longer challenge for the fucking title ever again? What do you mean time's been wasted?
So I was like, Hangman gonna make a deal with the devil. We haven't heard your thoughts on Hangman. I mean, Hangman has his new story. Those are my thoughts on it. And, I don't think this is a situation the way the Cody thing played out. Like, I don't think there's pressure for the company to stick to that. I don't think I think they got a good buy rate out of this now, and Hangman's story leads him eventually back to the title. Like I don't buy it. I think the stip's getting broken, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah,
but
they're
as
gonna
far
break
as
that
Kenny,
step after being in promotion for almost 7 years, it'd be like, we don't break steps, they're gonna break that step. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah.
And as far as Kenny again, like I said, this is the guy like a lot of people want. They want that Ospreay Omega bad. And even then, in that case, that would be in service of Will. I think people just want Kenny to be displayed on that stage and treated like the legend that we all see him as, not behind Adam Copeland, not behind, various insert a motherfucker from WWE. And it's like the last time he was able to go to Wembley, he was in a fucking 6-man tag. Do you remember that whole thing, James? And it was like, he didn't get no singles match. And it was just like, how do you do this? And, if he's not the champion going into it, fine. You better find something good for him. Like, and I don't know. It just feels like we're at a crossroads here. I think that it's like you see the final goal. You're finally getting a shot. Like we all wanted them to get the shot. Are we here or not? And I think they better, as a company, they better learn to assess the situation, look at it from all angles, make the best decision for your business. If you feel like, not switching it up, going with MJF all the way is take you there. He's, you can't argue with the metrics right now and all the stuff that's telling you to do that. You can't argue with.
Yeah. Until you get to the point where it's like, all right, we already done we already done Ospreay and MJF in Wembley Stadium. We're gonna do it again.
It's a tough sell.
As a fly-in event, do you think more people are flying in for MJF and Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay?
Yeah.
Just first gut reaction. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just a hard sell. Like, and just for
and that's no knock on MJF and his title run so far, because his title run's been great. This is the best that he's been used since CM Punk, in my opinion, in AEW. But it's like, hey man, you are a heel champion. You don't need a long title reign. You got it in December 29th. If you were to lose in April 12th, after Adam Page has had however many months that was, it's like, okay, two shorter title reigns, and then with a Samoa Joe sandwich in between that one as well.
Yeah, and as Samoa Joe is like a 2-time champion, and it's like,
yeah,
it's tough.
Samoa Joe, 2-time champion. Kenny Omega, get fucked. All right.
That's
cool.
Kind of crazy.
Cool.
That's insane, I think, to ask your audience to just accept this. And it's fucked up, like, honestly. Like, and it's like, all right, if you think about it in even another sense, it's like, for me, I'm glad Kenny Omega has probably been very well compensated over the past 7 years for lending his group's likeness, essentially, and selling it so they could build a promotion in their image, essentially. Like, and there's gonna be a day when he departs the company, and we're all gonna look back on this shit and be like, why? Like, there's just gonna be so many questions. I think
this is not optimized. We look, Kenny Omega, Danielson, were either of these guys, when they were, the best wrestlers in the promotion, were either of these guys put in those positions to have, I mean, Omega as a heel, but like, hey, people are tuning in because they want to cheer for Kenny Omega. People are tuning in because they want to cheer for Bryan Danielson. And it's like, okay, we'll give Danielson basically 2 months, 3 months. No, 2 months. All right. Kenny Omega, nah, man. You had a nice run in 2021, but we're done with you. While you're still maybe the best wrestler in the world. That's fucking dumb. Oh, and also, Adam Page in his situation where we're going to have him out the title picture for months or maybe years until we piss people off with him breaking rules in a promotion that doesn't break rules or steps. Okay, cool, man.
All right. Y'all heaven sent.
And I'm not talking about this to say, I'm not saying this to talk down on MJF. MJF's doing great. I'm talking about just in general, like some of these missteps. We have not maximized the Kenny Omega experience. We have not optimized the Hangman Adam Page experience. We have not optimized the Bryan Danielson experience when we had him. And Danielson's now fucking ringside doing commentary now. Not yesterday, but in general.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good. I mean, Rush and Darby Allin had a hell of a main event.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, man. There are a few better bets in pro wrestling than Darby Allin versus mean person that's bigger than him. That could be Gabe Kidd, that could be Samoa Joe, that could be Konosuke Takeshita, that could be Brody King, that could be anybody. Yeah. It just works.
Yeah.
Like I remember someone what was a tweet? He said someone said that they were reading tweets translated from Japanese, and they said that and someone said in Japanese that he's real life Yoshihiko, the blow up doll and DDT.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah, he's so good at being ragdolled and then fighting back against some dude that's way bigger than him. He's so good at it. Rush was fucking killing him with them chops, man. Yeah. He chopped him. Rush no-sold a series of chops from him one time, and then he chopped him back in the chest, and then immediately followed up with a chop to the neck, and I was like, God damn,
that nigga Rush don't be playing, dog.
Bro, I remember when Rush showed up, and you were like, man, I don't know if he's gonna give a fuck, and I was like, he's gonna give a fuck, and every time I see Rush, he out here giving a fuck, and when Rush give a fuck, he's a great wrestler. Yeah. He just is.
Yeah. So Ricochet was back. He did not get fired, as so many people speculated. Yeah, I don't know what to say about all that, but
also big fuck ice chance during the Darby and Rush match.
St. Paul, Minnesota. So kind of notable there. But yeah, I think that's kind of enough where to leave it. There's there's a Okada versus Kevin Knight match that got announced. I displayed the graphic earlier.
That Collision
International Championship.
That's going to be another great match.
Be nice,
especially given what they did in T2. There is an Ospreay and Pac match next week, right? For Dynamite, that's going to be fucking awesome. Yeah, man. It's a good show.
Look, I've got my gripes, like in Willow Nightingale.
Oh yeah.
Lost some belts, and she was the one that got pinned and all that. I was not happy about that.
I get the story. I don't like the story.
Right, they're still running Divine and I don't know their name, Divine Dimension or something.
Divine. Someone in the chat help us. Divine
Dominion, I believe.
Yes, I think that's what it is. And look, Rich, you need to get that Undertaker gong out real quick. So when they did the backstage video program, a video package to sell another Megan Bane in a tag team partner versus Babes of Wrath AEW Women's World Title match, Megan Bane came on and with the headdress as usual, and she had on a white dress that brother. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Because this is not the first time, and at this point now, I'm willing to bet this will not be the last time when she comes out with a dress like that and them things sitting like that. Bring your ass back! This man
had to clear out. Had to clear out.
Man, I had nothing else left. And he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna hit the bell on this nigga." All right, Rich. But yeah, man, real talk. There was no need for another one of
Feel
these
like
matches.
Hubert Davis when they walk out, you know.
There was no need for another match, for another tag team match between these this dynamic. Time to move on. You want to beat them some more? Like, is this a match where they're rematch and Harley gets pinned this time? Is it make good or something?
Maybe, but
I don't know. But that's Collision, I believe. I think that's set for Collision.
Yep.
All right.
Tekla defended the belt against Mina. This is a really good match for Mina, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
I was into this one. Tekla re-signed with AEW also.
Congratulations.
So, bags
More money for more full-length minks and furs and the like. Yeah, so it's funny because watch this match. I was like, yo, this reminds me of when, Sharia won the red belt and she vacated the SWA belt at beginning of 2021, and then Tekla shows up on the first Stardom show of 2021 in Donna Del Mondo, and her and Mina feuded for the SWA belt, and that match was really good. And like, sure enough, later on, obviously they didn't say all that detail about the history between those two, but they were like, oh yeah, these two have, a history dating back to Stardom. I was like, I'm glad they know that these two have this. And you watch and you see their chemistry, the way they're hitting, like, oh, that's definitely
that's the real hitting.
Oh, yeah, they was out here hitting for real. Them chop, I ain't never seen Mina chop nobody that hard. So
James, I'm going to display something on the screen that speaks to the Jay-Z segment that we were just talking about. Would you read that out loud for me?
It's a tweet that says French Montana better than Jay-Z on the right beat. That's funny because Rich, I don't know if you heard on the radio or what's playing on the radio, but like French got a new song out with Max B. Have you heard it?
Yep. It's like a minute long.
Rich, we've said this about people like Jeezy. We've said this about people like Rick Ross. French Montana never raps on bad beats. He only picks heat. Bro, I heard that show. I was
that
like,
shit is hard.
Because, bro, it's not just the sample. Because obviously that sample's going to go the second you hear it. Because that's the one that was like, how come someone else hasn't used it already, right?
Right.
That's why, I like it. But it's that, plus it's like that, what was a song on Life of Pablo that Kanye had with Post Malone? They had the Tiana Taylor video.
Fade, I believe.
It's like it's set to that fade, that same fade, like beat and feel where it has that synth and it has the 4 on the floor drums. It's like, oh, this finna go. How far it goes, I don't know, because it's French or whatever else, and I don't know what is independent or whatever else. But like, this gets played somewhere, people loving this.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it on the first listen. And I was like, French done did it again. French get a knock a nigga out in a 5, get in a 5 or 10 track verses. He ain't got 20, but he damn sure got like 5 to 10. But yeah, that's absurd. Obviously, that's obviously absurd. But shout out to French. French done had enough hits and hot shit to be not considered a joke.
Yeah,
but he ain't Jay-Z because that's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think this is a good spot to leave it. And,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not gonna do this. I'm saying it's a joke. I don't want it to be mad at me. But hey man, that Page better bring his ass to TV soon. I'm joking. Look, he lost the title. He needs to be on TV. He's selling that, whatever. I'm just joking. Look, if Rich Lotta can bring his ass on Nation Radio to do his job, so can Adam Page with AEW Dynamite.
We all have been sent.
All right, y'all, that's in the show. If you are watching from the stream, be sure to go to the show notes when the podcast is up to the red link circle and donate there. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keeping It Strong Style. I almost said Rick and Clive show. That's crazy. I always want to do that. But All Things Elite, AEW Match Guide, Imps Adventures, Tunnel Talk with Trish and Sarah. Those are only the super shows. The Trish Sarah Wrestling Podcast, Tunnel Talk, Wrestling Out with Chris Things, And I already said Imps Adventure. Oh, joshing around. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Happy 5 years to Tunnel Talk. Doing anything in life for 5 years that you're committed to is a grand accomplishment, and I hope you guys celebrated even more than you did on your show.
Anything? 5 years for anything? Committing to 5 years, anything?
Yeah, maybe it's at real time.
So I'm going to give Tunnel Talk their props. They've done the damn thing for 5 years, but separate discussion. Hey man, there's some people that committed to being deadbeats. So I don't think that's commendable, Rich. I know that's not what you meant, but I just want to get some my joke off. All right, so that's it. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later. All right, we off there, or I'm done recording.
All right, y'all. We up out of here.
Later, y'all.
Peace.
Have a good night.